Good evening and a big hello from Wellington, the capital city of New Zealand. I am now speaking to you from my hotel room, and it's a real pleasure to have you with me on this first online meeting of our ELT course. Now, before we start, I just want to know where you are now attending this meeting. So please type that into the chat window. Where are you now attending this meeting? Are you at home? Are you on our campus? Or are you in your hometown? I can see one or two of you attending this meeting not at home. So please type your answer into the chat window. Good. So first response from Phước. Okay, how about the other people? Good. Thank you, Ling. So, another student from home. Okay. We just got one more response. I'm trying to open our presentation today. Well, today we're gonna talk about classroom management, lesson planning, visual aids, and okay, this is our presentations. Okay, thank you. Good. So I have got several responses, and most of you are at home. Now, just another quick check before we move on. Can you all hear me well? If you can hear me well, please type yes into the chat window. Okay. If you can hear me well, please type yes into the chat window. Good. Well, it's okay to have some interruptions, Phước, because I am not on all the time, like the song that I have just played. Sometimes I may be silent, looking at your responses. So there may be some interruptions, but if you can hear me very well, then it's fine. Now, in order to make sure that we have best experience of the meeting, I'm going to turn off our webcam. This is partly to save the bandwidth for our connection and make our sound quality better. So I will just switch up my webcam. Okay, so we have more space for the slides. Okay, good. Thank you for confirming. I think the sound is not a big problem once I have already turned up the webcam. Now, this is our last meeting for the English teaching methodology course, and as you can see from the title of our screen, we're gonna talk about visual aids, lesson plans, and class management. As usual, there will be tips, ideas, and strategies that are useful for us as teachers, and during this session there will be some activities in which I want you to join. Okay, just for those who are interested, it's now a 9:15 in the evening here in New Zealand. The weather is nice. There was a little rain in the morning, but it has been very nice, okay, for the rest of the day. And if you see my webcam broadcast a couple of while ago, you can see that the sky is still clear. I mean, it is still daytime now because this is the start of the summer, and I know that it's 3 p.m. In the afternoon in Vietnam. Our meeting is supposed to last for a little more than an hour, so you can expect to stop at around a little past 4. Okay. Now, so we're gonna talk about teaching aids first. Teaching aids here refer to the kinds of hardware equipment and other resources that we use in supporting language teaching. Now, the kinds of visual aids that are available for teachers of English now can be blackboard. It can be the real objects that we bring to classroom. For example, when you teach about clothing, you can bring some of the clothing items to your class, and these are called real objects or realia. A lot of teachers also design flashcards, and very soon we will talk about flashcards, work cards, and worksheets. We will talk a little bit about charts, and to be sure, the teachers themselves are also visual aids. By using gestures, our facial expressions, or our bodily actions, we can send a lot of visual cues to the students in explaining meanings of words, and also in interacting with the students, getting students engaged. Now, the classroom equipments that we can look at in the talk gonna be the overhead projector. We call it OHP for short. Overhead projector has become obsolete now with the popularities of LCD projectors, but just about 10 years ago, in our university, OHPs or overhead projectors were the main teaching aids, and they were quite expensive at that time. Basically, those projectors allow the teacher to project contents on what we call transparency sheets onto the screen. I think it will be useful for you now to go to Google and search overhead projectors and look for several images. Okay, let me have a go here on my computer. This is just to have you have an idea of what OHP or overhead projector is like. Now, these terms will come up again to you in your TKT exams. OHPs are overhead projector. Okay, it's still coming. My connection here is not very good. You know, internet is very expensive in New Zealand, so I'm using the 3G connections from my cell phone for this meeting. Well, that can be why it is a little bit slow in the beginning. Okay, it's still coming. Yeah, I'm trying to show you what OHP or overhead projector is like. Hopefully, some of you have already seen them on your screen. Yes. Okay. This one from Wikipedia is quite like the one that we have in the English department not very long ago. So on these OHP projectors, the teacher gonna print the contents on the activities on a transparency sheet, and then the teacher put the transparency sheet on the class area, turn on the projectors, and then the image can be projected to the screen like this. Well, let me give you the link. Now, some teacher can also print color transparency sheet. Okay. Right, so I have just sent you the link to give you a look at the overhead projectors. You can read more about that if you are really interested. Cassette recorder are also obsolete now, I believe, but you can still find them in several places in Vietnam. Basically now a lot of teachers prefer to use laptops and MP3 files instead of having cassette tapes to go with cassette recorders. But yeah, 10 years ago, this is what you expect in a modern classroom, and well, you may be surprised, but in some of the exams about language teaching methodology, there are still items asking the test taker to answer questions about cassette recorders. Video recorders are now becoming more and more affordable, and a lot of teachers use video recorder to record presentations or discussion of the students and then play back for the whole class to comment or to review the activity. I think video recorders are very useful for project-based learning in language classrooms, and if video recorders are not available, you can make use of the smartphones that most of the students have now. Most smartphones now, I believe, can record videos, simple videos. Computer and laptops are what you are very familiar with now. And if you have a look at our textbook about the kind of equipment for classroom, they a big part for language labs or language laboratories. But from my point of view, these are also becoming obsolete. Now, language labs are only useful for students several decades ago when language learners do not have the chance to hear the voice of native speakers. Now, if you think back about several decades ago, it was still very rare for an individual to have personal cassette player or Walkman or CD players, and it cost a lot at that time to have such devices. So in order to hear the recordings that you enjoy now on the internet or on the laptop, most of the students have to go to language labs in the schools, and basically those language labs allow students to hear recordings from cassette tapes that the teachers bring to the labs. The language labs also allow students to record their speaking, their language productions, for comments and reviews later. Now, I put a note there saying that this technology is gradually becoming obsolete because, as you see now, nearly every individual student can have even better technology to help them do those things efficiently. You can always go to the internet and download materials that you want to your MP3 player or your cell phones or your computers, and play again anytime you want, and record yourself. There are also software applications that allow you to check how good your pronunciation is compared with the model. So you see, language labs cannot beat this new technology. If you are going to teach in high schools in K-12 schools later, and when you are asked about whether the school need language lab like that, I strongly recommend you to think twice before proposing to the school. However, you can think about using a multimedia computer lab, pretty much like what we are doing now for our face-to-face ELT2 sessions in our main campus. So the students have computers, and they use those computers to go to an LMS, a learning management system like the Moodle that we are using, and the teacher and the students use computers and the online system to interact with the materials to manage learning activities, pretty much like what we are doing. So instead of having traditional language labs, try to get your school to buy a multimedia computer lab. It's much more useful and it's much more multifunctional. Alright, now there is another part that is important in this discussion about using resources in teaching, that is how we can write well on the blackboard. So these are the three things that are important, and I have already told you during our micro teachings in the face-to-face meeting sometimes. Now you need to talk as you write. This is good because when you talk as you write, you can hold the attention of your students, and also do not show your back to the student all the time when you write on the board. Try to interact with the students at the same time you write. That is much more engaging for the students. And okay, this is the mistake that new teachers often make. When you write on the board, your face is completely on the board, and okay, you see you lose the interaction with your students very easily that way. Also, remember to write in a straight line and make sure that your writing on the board is clear, big enough for students at the back of the class to see. Okay, so these are the good tips, and I think you have already seen how they work in our micro teaching. Now, okay, a good teacher should know how to draw simple drawing or simple pictures to demonstrate the activity that you are organizing. Now, I will stop talking for a while, and I want you now to explore for yourself the places where you can get resources for learning to draw yourself. Things like simple stick figures, simple emoticons, simple places, and simple vehicles. Okay, now, so our first activity is to find a website that allows you, or that teaches you to draw stick figures or emoticons. So I give everybody about 5 minutes to browse through the internet. You can use the keywords on the slide and look for some of the websites. When you have finished, I want you to post back into the chat window the link of the website, link of the website, and a very brief description, just sort of words about what it can do for you, what are available there. Now, is it clear, everybody? Now, are you still with me? If you are still with me, please say yes to the chat window. Good, good. Thank you. Okay, so now 5 minutes for this activity. I want you to start your web browser and try to find website. There are a lot of them out there that show you how you can draw simple stick figures to demonstrate actions. For example, how you can draw simple emoticons to show feelings, how you can draw simple places, how you can draw simple vehicles. Now remember, these should be drawings that can be useful for language teaching. They should be very easy, they should be very quick to do. Okay, I don't want you to give links to websites that show complicated drawings for professional people. Now, 5 minutes. Let's go. Okay, we have got our first website from Phổ Nhu. Okay, how to draw? Yeah, funny cartoons, stick figures. Yeah, quite nice. These stick figures are quite easy to draw. And on the left menus, I can see the easy step for body parts, for farm animals, for objects, for places, for food, for transports. So this is a very good website. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. And we have got another website here from Thúy Hằng. How to draw a stick figure. Yeah, I'm opening it up now. Okay. Yeah. Well, what I love about this website is that its instruction is very clear. Okay. So that's a simple stick figure, but there is only one stick figure show in the instructions. The previous one that you brought for us is quite good in that. Okay, it has a variety of things. All right. So it seems that a lot of people are attracted to the how to draw funny cartoons website. Okay, so this is a good website, but I believe that there are still a lot of good websites out there that can help you learn to draw quickly those things. Now, I want you to look at your reading materials on designing teaching aids and using resources. They have a lot more ideas about how we can use stick figures, emoticons, simple sketches or doodlings to support our teaching. And if you can draw just a little bit, okay, that will be big attractions for the students. Now, let's move now to our second questions in this section. Before we move on to another one, how are flashcards, worksheets, and work cards different, and why are they useful? Does anybody have any idea? Now, let me put our meetings into discussion mode. Hopefully, it is okay. Okay, now I have now put our meeting into Q&A, question and answer mode. So you can talk to the whole class by clicking on your own microphone icon on the attendees list. As you see now, we have 14 people on the list, and you can unmute yourself to talk by clicking on the microphone. Anybody want to have a go? Now, flashcards. Okay, what are they? Good. We have got somebody here. For you, look like you want to say something. Okay, good. Oh yes, I can hear you very well. Yeah, please keep going. Okay, thank you, you. Now, anybody else? Does anybody else want to share? Okay, let me give you the answers. Flashcards are the kinds of visual cues that we normally use in teaching vocabularies. For flashcards are usually two-sided. Okay, one side will be the cues, and the other side, okay, gonna be the answers that we want to get from students. For example, when you teach the word apple, then you show a flashcard of an image of the apple on one side and the word apple on the other side. So you may show the image to the student and say, "Everybody, what is this?" Okay, and if the student cannot give you the answers, okay, you can turn to the other side. This is the apple. Flashcards can be used in a lot of different ways. For example, it can be used to help students memorize vocabularies. One side is in English and the other side is the Vietnamese translations. Flashcard can also be simply one-sided, okay, with informations or with new words that students need to memorize. Now, flashcards are normally laminated so that they last longer, and they are used in many classrooms because it takes time to prepare a set of flashcards. Worksheets are simply activities that are printed in a separate sheet. So if you plan to add some other activities, okay, other than those that are already available in the textbooks, and you get them, printed on handouts and then give to the students, these are called the worksheets. Work cards are basically worksheet that put on a car. They are made to be more durable and last longer so that they can be shared across different classrooms or they can be reused. So worksheets and work cards basically the same thing, except for the fact that work cards are worksheets on the cards. Now there are several reasons why they are used in a classroom, but basically in a classroom setting when computers and internet connections are not available, they can be a big help for the teachers. They give students something new, apart from what is already available in the textbooks. And in the language classes, when the students are working on the textbook, all the time they get bored, so you can give them some flashcards or some worksheet that you prepare yourself. It's like adding something new, adding color to your class. Many teachers now tend to use a computer screen to replace the flashcards and the worksheet, and that's easy to understand because it saves time preparing them. But if you can give students physical flashcards and worksheets, it is really worthwhile. Your student will be very motivated and interested. Okay, so let's wrap things up. I have managed to touch upon some of the key things that you should read about in using teaching aids. Think about the technologies that we used in the class several decades ago and the technology we use now. Think about how we can use the blackboard effectively, and also remember some of the tips for efficient usage of blackboard. I also hope that after this meeting you develop some interest in doodling or drawing some simple images. That's going to be very helpful for you as a language teacher later. Now, let's move on to the next part that I want to talk about today, tips for good classroom management. So basically, these are the good tips that teacher need to know for effective teaching. So it's gonna be mainly lecture, and they're gonna be only seven slides. Now, when you talk to your students in the classroom, try to simplify the language that we use. This is called rough turning. By rough turning, we mean exaggerated tones of voice, and we use more simple grammar and more restricted vocabulary. This is very much similar to the language that adults use to talk to babies or little kids when their language competence is still limited. Now, also, when we are not quite experienced in talking to students, it is important to observe students' comprehensions in order to adjust our speaking style. By looking at the students, we can have a sense of whether we are going too fast or going too slow. Also, when you are in a language class, be an actor. Don't sit still in one place. Try to make use of your body language, like gestures, facial expressions, and try to mime actions. That will be very helpful. Now, when the English teachers give instructions in the activities, it's important to remember the KISS principle. Basically, it is short for keep it short and simple. Right, so our instructions should be short and simple. Well, it sounds like that, but it's not that easy. Usually, if you do not pay attention, you may give instruction that is long and hard to understand or hard to remember for your students. So plan ahead or think ahead and try to make our instructions short and simple. And it is also important to track whether the student have understood what we expect them to do. And there are some tips on the slide that you can use. We can ask one student to stand up and explain the activity to the whole group, or we can ask one student to stand up and demonstrate the activity first. And if all the students speak the same mother tongue, like the class setting that we have in Vietnam, then we can ask a student to stand up and translate the instructions into Vietnamese for the whole group. So basically, after giving the instructions, try to check whether everybody is clear, everybody knows what they are supposed to do. Right. Now, how the teacher talks in the classroom is also discussed in this unit. There has been a little discussions about how much teachers should talk in the language classroom, because it's hard to get a sense of how much is right. But these are the key points. A good language teacher should try to help the student produce, rather than he himself speak English all the time in a classroom. Anyway, your student come to your language classes in order to speak English, not to pay you for you to speak English, right? So we should try to think about different ways to maximize the student talking time, make our student talk as much as possible, and minimize our talking time. However, this doesn't mean that you talk too little, because the teacher talk is the kinds of quality input that students need in order to acquire the language. I think you have already read or learned about this in second language acquisition discussions, right? And it's good to mention the input hypothesis of Krashen here. I think I have already discussed this a little bit in our face-to-face previous meetings. Krashen says that our students learn best when the language input that they receive is one level or one step above their current level. Now, so this input hypothesis is very similar to the proximal zone of development that Vygotsky says. Basically, the student need input from the textbook, from the teachers, in order to acquire the language. So good teacher talking time is also necessary. Just make sure that you do not talk on and on all the time. And good teachers should use their own common sense to decide how much is enough between student talking time and teacher talking time. Okay, so what are the best kinds of lessons? Now, in order to judge whether your lesson go well or not, these are some of the criteria that you can think about. Now, number one, students' boredom is our greatest enemy. So, in a language class, interactions is the key, and passiveness or student boredom is something that we should always try to avoid. The teachers should think about changing his or her own patterns from time to time. For example, if you usually sit at the teacher's table, then try changing that habit one or twice. Then it can be interesting for the student to see the change. They will be a little bit surprised, and sometimes teachers should think about ways to surprise their students. For example, you come to the class and say a big hello to everybody instead of a very soft greeting that you normally have at the beginning of your usual class. So in this way, the teacher is really the artist or the actor. Really, we should try to think of ways to renew ourselves. However, do not make yourselves change all the time. Too much variety, too much surprise or changing can be destabilizing for the student. If you are surprised all the time, then it's also not a good thing too, because that will put the students in situation in which they don't want to be. They will feel not secure to see the teachers change the behavior all the time like that. We can also motivate student and kill boredom by varying the kinds of tasks that we use. And I believe that in all of the macro skills and the language aspects, lessons about teaching speaking, reading, writing, listening, and grammar, pronunciations, vocabulary, we try to learn a lot of different tasks. And I keep saying that we should know all of those different tasks in order to vary our activities. Okay, now this is another note about physical experience, which is very important in Vietnamese schools. We should think about how close we want to be to the students. Too far away from the student can be seen as not giving them enough attention, and that can make them stay up the learning task. But if you are too close to the students all the time, if you stand very close to the student all the time, that can make them feel uneasy. And you should also use your common sense to judge how closely you should work with your students. A lot of young teachers try to be very friendly with the students, but soon they will learn that it's not a good thing to do. When you try to be too much friendly to your students, you can come up with situations in which you do not have trust and respect from them. So we need to be good friends to our students. We need to be helpful, but there should be some sort of a space between the teacher and the students if you want your teaching to go well. And also, some teachers in Vietnam tend to learn the behaviors of foreign teachers, like sitting on the tables, wearing casual clothes to classroom. I think all of these things are personal, but we should really mind about what students think about those behavior. And generally speaking, in the teaching context of Vietnam, those are not accepted, although they are acceptable in other parts of the world. And also, good teachers should not sit at a corner of the classroom all the time, like what we have discussed in previous meetings. There should be some movement around the classroom to track student comprehensions, to make students feel that you give them some care for the activity that they are doing. And also, it's a good way for you to interact with the student, to monitor their work. Now, this is another important thing. Watching and listening to the students is as important as teaching. I think you have heard stories of teachers in I do not see this much with teachers of English, but in other subjects, some teachers just come into the classroom, greet the student, and then they sit at the table, look up to the ceiling all the time, look to the wall all the time, and start talking out of their mind. I think some of them try to show that they are very knowledgeable, Okay, they do not need to look at anything in order to talk. But obviously, in a language class, that's another good thing to do. By watching and listening to the students, we remain rapport, interaction with the students, and it also gives us clues about how we are doing in our lessons. Okay, another slide about using our voice. Well, it's important for the teacher to speak loud enough for everybody to hear. But if you speak with a booming or rasping voice too loud, then it's also unpleasant. A good teacher should be an actor in using the voice. Sometimes you need to speak quickly. Sometimes you need to speak slowly. Sometimes you need to increase the volume of your voice, and sometimes you need to be very soft. Like a storyteller, when lecturing, when talking to the students. And I think you have already seen me do this many times. Teachers should also take care of their main labor tool. I mean, our voice, our throat. So, like an opera singer, we should take great care of our voices and our vocal energies. I think you will learn this gradually after teaching several years. Even though I do not have any problem yet with my voice, but I have seen a lot of teachers when getting old, they have problem with their vocal because of not taking enough care when they teach. So there are several tips that I want to share. For example, as language teachers, you can save your voice by drinking cold water, or at least reducing the amount of ice or cold water that you use. I have tried to cut down on cold water, and sometimes even stay away from ice cream, just to make sure that I do not have problem with my throat. Also, gargling your mouth and your throat with light salty water at the beginning or at the end of the day is a very good technique. And of course, you also should exercise to keep yourself in good fit all the time. If you are looking for speaker to help you in teaching, then you can find what we call in Vietnamese okay. Now well, in English this is simply called speakers or wireless speakers, and in Vietnamese they are called máy trợ giảng. I'm not sure where how the word come into our language, but possibly because teachers use these wireless speakers as our assistants. So it's very often it's quite normal for teachers in Vietnam to take large classes, and if you have to speak loudly for the whole day, you will see how you pay at the end of the day. So wireless speaker or máy trợ giảng can be helpful. they range from 1 million to 5 or 6 million in price. But if possible, try to buy a good one, because you see, like the model that I use, that the sound is very clear, and with wireless speakers, you only need to speak very softly to the microphone, and the whole class can hear you without any interference or distortions of the voice. I really love it, in my teaching. So, that's a little bit about conserving our voice. Now, let's now move on to the last part, which is about lesson planning. I'm not going to lecture. Instead, we will just have a little practice. But before we go, these are the very good metaphors that I want you to know. They actually come from the textbook about lesson planning of Jerry Hammer. Now, a good lesson is like a theme with an interesting beginning and with a middle, how it goes, after the beginning and the end. And a good teacher should know how to make it a good end, with a set of closure. It can be a review activity, it can be a wrap up. Some parts of the lesson are predictable, but other parts are surprises. A good lessons in a language class can also be a full match with pace and energy, and teacher play the roles of coaches or referees, in the games, in the activities. A good lesson also has the structures of a meal with 3 courses. You see, starter, main course, and desserts, with ingredients that complement each other. I mean, if you give the student the same food for all the 3 courses, they will be soon bored and lose their interest. Try to use a lot of activities. Try to diversify the ingredients. And a good lesson is also a symphony, with a predictable structure, a variety of pace, and a theme of themes. That means, even though they have lots of ingredients, they should own within a theme. They should own go around the main points of a lesson. I really like these metaphors about what a good lesson is like. Okay, my laptop is running out of battery and I need to plug it in. Good. So for now, I want you to do this activity. Now, first, in lesson planning, there is a part in which we need to learn about aims and objectives. Now, some lesson plan in high schools are gonna require you to have a section for aims and a section for objectives. Okay, everybody, now I want you to click on the link that I have just sent in a chat window. Download the PDF file. It tries to explain to you what are the differences between aim and objectives. So read through that for about 3 minutes, and then we'll come up. We'll come back to sum it up. Okay, now I think that's enough. I just try to go through that very quickly. Can anybody tell me how aims and objectives differ from each other? How are they different? Okay, just 1 or 2 points. Okay, will be enough. Now, Phước, are you there? Okay, I have unmuted your microphone. Oh, okay. Win cannot download the file. Really? Ah, okay. So it looks like you cannot download the PDF file. Let me try what I can do. Okay, here you go. Now it's on the screen now. Try to click on the link again. See if it goes. If not, okay, I have an idea. Why don't you use Google to help? Okay. You can Google it a little bit. There are lots of explanations out there too. Basically, I only want you to get a sense of the differences between aims and objectives in writing a lesson plan. In the meantime, I will try to fix this. Okay, Phước, how are they different? Now please unmute yourself and speak to the whole class. You can unmute yourself. Click on your microphone and unmute yourself. I can do it for you. Okay, you are now unmuted. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much. So basically, aims are the general, the big goals that we want students to achieve, and under the aims, we have specific objectives in order to achieve a certain aim. So we can see aims as something general and objective as something much more specific. For example, in one of the lessons, one of our aims is to develop speaking competence for the students. Alright? Now in the objective, you have very specific objective like student learn how to bargain in a shopping situation, for example. So you see, this is part of the speaking activities to help students develop their speaking competence, but the objective is very specific, is very clear. So when you write a lesson plans in a TKT exam, if they ask you to tell the difference between aims and objective, just keep in mind that aims are things that are general, are big things. Like I want my student to develop 21st century skills, and the objectives of helping students to achieve that goal is to run a meeting on web meeting like what I am doing now. Okay, so you see, aims and objectives are different. Now, I'm not sure whether this works, but I have just shared you another Dropbox link to a simple lesson plan. Now, click on the link and please tell me whether you can download the file first. If it doesn't work, I will try to find another way of sharing the file to you. Shows the error. That's strange. Now, everybody, please log into our learning system. I will post the file there. Okay, my 3G internet connection is getting slow now, and yeah, it's not like what you have. I'm sure that it's very fast for you because our website is hosted in our university. So for me, it may go up to the moon, go back to Singapore, and then go to Australia, and then reach me in New Zealand. That's why it is still loading. Okay, while waiting for my course to load on our mobile learning system, I have just a quick check. Have you all know about how your midterm is evaluated? Now let me put the question in a more simple way. Do you all know how to see your activity reports? Please type your answer into the chat window, yes or no. Do you know how to track your own activity reports? Because I'm going to give you midterm score based on your activity report. Hello? Are you there? Say yes or no. Good. So I got responses here. So you know how to see your activity reports. Now the deadline for scoring your activity reports, I believe, is already in the course page. Let me have a look here. Okay, so let me try to open that part about the midterm again. Okay, the sum up date will be week 14, and that gonna be this week. So It's what time is it now? It's 13th of December now. And yeah, it 13th of December now. I will give you time until December 20. Okay. Yeah. So basically you have one more week to go before I back up the system and start to evaluate your activity reports. Yes, the course is still available for several months. You can still log into the system to review the material for the final exams. Now, I have updated the page on the midterms with a note about the deadline for the midterm, that is December the 20th. Now, so that's it. Everybody, now I want you to go back to our learning system and download the simple lesson plan right in the parking lot area. Do you see it there? Now, can you download the simple lesson plan that I have just posted to the bottom of our parking lot areas? Now, can you all open the file and see what is inside? If you can, please type yes into the chat window. Good. Good. It works this time. Now, so this is just a suggested lesson plan, and if you look at our textbook, the format that is suggested is different. But the simple lesson plan I just sent you is the current format that is used in high school. And if you do teaching practicum in high school, I believe that teacher there still require you to use this format. So part of this activity is to look at the lesson plan and see how many parts are there and how they are formatted. And you can do this for yourself. Now, before we wrap up the meeting and say goodbye, I want everybody to check attendance. So go to the bottom of our parking lot area and click on the link. Do you attend the online meeting of December the 13th? I give you 2 minutes to do attendance check, and then we will be up. Okay, so this attendance check is to meant to give you credit for attending the online meeting today. Yeah, it's at the bottom of the page. I have seen some of you tracking attendance already. Well, just refresh the home page. Just refresh or go back to the home page, and the link will be there. Okay, look like we have a questions. Yes, Jang. You can speak on the microphone, or you can type it to the chat window. I can't give you a lot of time for doing this activity because some students may not attend the meeting and trying to track attendance. Yeah, V, look like you have a question. Well, the attendance track is at the bottom of the parking lot. It is at the bottom of the parking lot, just right under the link to the simple lesson plan. Okay, it is just above topic 1. Yeah, just above topic 1. Okay, everybody, before we stop for the day, yeah, questions. What about next week's meeting? Well, I won't be home until next Wednesday, so we have no meeting next week too. Okay, I will make that announcement on our learning course. There is no face-to-face meeting next week, and we will try to have a meeting when I come back home. Okay, so that meeting can be on the 23rd of December, in which we review everything and prepare for the final exams. So no face-to-face meeting next week. Okay, I have just... Alright, thank you. So that's clear. Now, everybody, if you do not have any other questions, then I would like to say a big thank you for spending time with me today. It's been an enjoyable teaching you from Wellington, okay, thousands of miles away from Vietnam, and this also shows us the power of the digital age. Well, it's now a little bit past 10:30 here, and everybody is sleeping because people in New Zealand tend to sleep early. and it's time for me to go to bed too. And we say goodbye here, and I will see you again in the face-to-face meeting at Đại Sư Phạm, okay, on the 23rd of December. Okay, so thank you everybody. It's been a real encouragement, reading your response for the meeting. And have a nice weekend. Goodbye.